Good morning, everyone. Shall we start our class? So till now we have discussed what is workgroup model, what is domain model, and we are working on domain model to do easy and centralized management. So if you want to go for the domain model, we have to design one system as a server, one system as a DC, and to make that machine as a DC we require Active Directory domain service. By the help of that we can make server and we can make the rest of the machine as a clients here. Okay, so till now we have discussed Active Directory first class, and till now in the first class of Active Directory we have discussed what is domain, in domain what is DC, what is server, what is clients, what is member server, what is users, domain users, right, and how to manage the users, how to manage the user passwords, right, how to manage the user data, and we seen profile, what is roaming, what is local, right, and we discussed home folder, network drive, and we discussed FSRM service also, right. And today we have Active Directory second class. Actual Active Directory is having 5 classes here. Till now we discussed only first class, what is domain, in domain how to create the server and clients users, and today we have Active Directory second class, and today we are discussing structure of Active Directory. So please write down the heading, Active Directory second class. Now we are discussing structure of Active Directory. Active Directory is having their own structures. Now there are, in Active Directory there are 2 structures are there. One is physical structure and one is a logical structure. Physical means which we can see, logical means just we can assume it. So please tell me, domain is a logical or physical? Domain is a logical. Domain controller is a physical. Why? Because domain controller is a server, server is a machine, right? So that is called what here? Physical we can say, right? And domain is a logical. Just in domain we have a servers, we have a number of machine as a clients, and domain logical structure is triangle here. Okay, so right now we are working on domain model to do easy and centralized management. Now today we are discussing structure of Active Directory, so please write down the heading and please copy this slide. In the structure of Active Directory we have logical structure, in that we have domain, we have tree, we have parent child, we have forest, and in physical structure we have domain controller and we have sites. Is done. And here in logical already we know what is domain, in physical structure already we know what is domain controller. So today we are discussing only logical structure. In logical structure once again we'll discuss what is domain, then we'll go for tree, then we'll go for forest here. Okay, now what is sites? We have one separate class on the day. We'll discuss what is a sites when we require the sites here. Okay, so we are going for domain model to do easy and centralized management. So to configure domain model, the microservice is saying we require at least one system as a server and the rest of the computer as a client. So in our network we are making system 1 as a server and we want to make system 1 as a server DC. But to make this machine as a server, to make this machine as a DC, we have some requirement. The first requirement is, in this machine we require operating system, and once install OS, basically this machine is work group here, right? So we have to convert this machine workgroup to DC, to server. Second requirement, this machine should be connected to my network, and in this machine we require IP address and the preferred DNS address should be same. when I'm making server. Then manually we have to install Active Directory domain service, and we have to promote. When you're promoting, we have to select add a new. This one. So when you are making this machine as a server DC, we have to install Active Directory service, we have to promote the service, we have to select add a new forest and give the domain name. And the domain name here I am giving to my server is zoom.com, and this name we are assigning, we are giving by the help of DNS service here, right? So this is my server, we know, right? But in our network we require number of machine as a clients. So I'm making this 2 machine as a client. So this machine should be connected to network first physically. So I want to make system 4 is a client and the system 5 is a client. So to configure this machine as a client, on this machine also we have requirement. First we require operating system. You can use any OS in this machine. The next most important requirement is IP address on this machine. So I'm giving 10.4, 10.5. And the preferred DNS address is our server IP, our DC IP, that is 10.1. The preference address is our server IP on all client machines here. Now we have to join, already we know how to join this machine into domain. Once you join, this machine is acting as a client. Now as the administrator in my server, I am creating some user accounts, user 1, user 2, and these users can log into this client machine or not here, right? So whenever the user is trying to log in here, in the client machine hard disk, your username and password is not available. So once you type your name and password, the client machine will take your name and password, and by the help of Kerberos protocol service, the client will forward the request to server, to your DC, and your server DC will give the authentication to the client by checking the Active Directory database. The request is going to server, and the server is checking the accounting database, that is ntds.dit. This is a directory database, and the database is giving authentication back to the client, server to client, then user can log in. So it means, example, in our network we have one server and we have nearly 100 machine as a client. So whenever the users are logging to the client machine, all the clients are sending the request to server, server is giving authentication, then user can log in. And your DC technically also is called primary server, and your DC is having read and writable database. Read and writable. So what is the meaning of read and writable database? So when you can create the account, you can delete the account, you can change the password, you can change the user properties, we can add the clients, we can remove the clients. So this is called what? Read and writable database. So this is a primary server, is having read and writable database here. Okay. Now how many servers you have now? One physical server, and we have number of machine as a clients, and you are there when everything is good here. Now assume it one day you are coming to your office, right, and you are getting some the users, your staff, your employees are calling to you and is complaining, sir, we are unable to log in from the client machines. Your all employees are complaining, sir, we are unable to log in from the client machine, and you are getting a call and you are the admin, you have to troubleshoot the problem. So where is the problem? If the users are saying, sir, we are unable to log in from the client machines, if one or two user is giving the complaint, sir, we are unable to log in from the client machine, maybe the client machine problem is there, or maybe the username and password problem. But this time all 100 employees, all 100 users are complaining, sir, we are unable to log in from the client machine. So where is the problem? The problem is what? Server. Your DC is not giving authentication. So can you give 100% guarantee 365 days 24/7 your servers, your machines are going to run properly? No. Maybe sometime you have a suddenly the machine hard disk is burned or damaged, or your hardware performance is very slow. You have old hardware server, the performance is very slow there. Some of the user is getting authentication from server, right? It's very fast, that user can log in very fast from the client machine, but some of the user is not getting authentication from server because the server is busy there. So we have two problems here. One is load balancing. At a time hundreds of users are sending the request to server, so some of the user is getting authentication very fast, that user can log in from the client machine very fast. Some of the user is logging slow, still the user can log in, but some of the user is not getting authentication from server. So we have a load balancing problem. One. Second problem is what? Failover. Suddenly one day my server hard disk is burned, or operating system is corrupted here, my DC system one hard disk burned, damaged, or hardware machine totally is damaged, collapsed, then what? So if your server is down, and assume you're coming in the morning and you're finding your server is down and all the users are complaining, said we are unable to log in from the client machine. So where is the problem? Problem is on server. Server is not giving authentication. So now tell me, at this moment, you are the admin, you have to troubleshoot the problem. You have to make the up your network. Now what is troubleshooting you are going to do now? You are coming to office, you are finding your server is totally down and your users are unable to log in from the client machine. And really, in the real time, you are the admin, you are going to face this problem. Now tell me, how to up the network, how to solve the problem, how to troubleshoot here. Please give me the answer. If your answer is wrong, no problem. When you're writing the exam, I will not deduct your marks. Okay, you have to give the answer. Yes, sir? You have to plan for backup. Where is the backup? Right now, there is no backup server. You have only one primary server, system 1, and that is here down. So what is the solution at this moment? Here, there is no solution. Only one option is there. Rebuild the network. What you have to do? Rebuild the network. So you have to redesign. Redesign means what? Take the new server, take the new hardware machine, configure the new server, and go to all the client machine, make it work group. Again, join it to the new domain, right? I can create the user accounts. I can set the user properties. I can set the user settings here. I can give the permissions back to the users here. Everything you have to rebuild, redesign it. Not tell me. Your boss is asking, sir, how much time you need, sir, to redesign the network, to up the network? One server, 100 clients. And everything newly you have to configure. So how much time you need? What you have to say to your boss? Sir, 1 hour is enough? No? So 1 day is enough? No. At least we require 1 week to rebuild the network. Again, so till this 1 week, what we have to tell to our staff? Sir, daily come to office, simply sit and go back to your home. Or take 1 week holiday, sir, because your admin is redesigning the network. So your employees are very happy. There is no holidays, but we are getting the holidays for rebuilding the network there. Okay, that is good. But what about your business? Total business is down. Lakhs and crore rupees loss is there or not here? So how these companies are managing their servers? Because you can see here, if you type anytime yahoo.com, Yahoo server is giving answer or not here? 365 days, 24/7. Bank servers, you can see here, day and night, anytime you can wake up, you can open your account. The bank servers are serving the services or not here? So how these companies are serving the services? And at a time, hundreds of users or more than hundreds of users accessing their server services. And without downtime, 365 days, 24/7, their servers are running. So how these companies are giving the solution? The companies are not maintaining one server. The companies are maintaining multiple servers here. Companies are maintaining multiple. So right now we have one DC. Now tell me, to avoid the load balancing, to avoid the failover, we have to configure one more server, one more DC. Now tell me, can we configure one more primary server by the name of zoom.com? Can we configure one more DC by the name of zoom.com in the same network? No, it's not possible. If you're saying yes, you are the first person in Microsoft history who is designing this type of feature. Okay, but the Microsoft is saying answer is no. Answer is no. In the same network, we cannot create two DCs by the name of zoom.com. But we can do one thing. We can create one primary, one backup. One primary, one backup. So what is backup? Backup is a copy to your primary. Backup is a copy to your primary. Example, you have an important document page is there. One page is there, original page. Can you take the Xerox or not here? Right? You can take the copy. You have a backup that one. So if original page is lost, by using backup page, by copy page, can you complete your job or not here? Yes, we can do. The same thing the Microsoft is saying, experts are saying, you have a single domain. In the same domain, we cannot plan one more primary server by the same domain name, right? But you can do one thing, we can configure one primary, one subdomain, one primary, one backup server. We can configure one primary, one backup, or more than one backup also we can configure. Some companies are maintaining one backup server. Some companies are maintaining more than one backup server, but the method procedure is same there. So this time, to avoid two problems, load balancing and one failover, so we need at least one backup server. Any question?
Same domain name?
Backup means what, sir? When the word is coming backup is what? Domain name is same, but that is a copy. Example, you are taking original page is there. Heading is Active Directory. If you take the Xerox, on the second page, what is the heading will come? Different? No. Name is what? Same there. Domain name is same here, but that is a backup. So how to plan for backup server here? To plan for backup server, we have one requirements here. So what is the first requirement? We require one machine, a good hardware configuration machine we require. So example, I am taking system 2, and this machine should be connected to our network first. Okay, and in this machine also we require OS, but which OS? The microservicing in primary server. In your primary server, you have this operating system. Which one? 2012 latest one. So when you're making backup server, I can use any operating system from 2000 or 2003 or 2008 or 2012, but not NT. NT is not supported, right? Because Active Directory service is available from 2000 operating system, right? Most of the companies want same features, so the company will use the same operating system. But if you have a previous license OS and you don't want to waste that one, you want to use that one, so you can configure by using 2008 or by using 2003 also, right? But we require one physical machine with operating system. So once install OS, I'm installing the same operating system, but somebody once install OS, basically this machine also is what here? Work group. So I want to convert this machine work group to backup server here, right? So to convert to backup server, in this machine we require IP address, we require static IP, manual IP. So I'm giving here 10.0.0.2 unique IP we require. And when you're making backup server, IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. But when you're making subdomain, remember here, when you're making subdomain backup servers, we require alternate DNS address, and alternate DNS address is your primary server IP, right? But on primary server, there is no requirement of alternate. But on backup server or subdomains, we require alternate here, right? Now, two things are completed. We have machine with OS, or we have computer with server OS, and we have IP address is correct, okay? Now, to convert this machine work group to backup server or work group to DC, the microservicing take the help of Active Directory service and take the help of DNS service. By the help of Active Directory service, I can make DC, I can make backup server, I can make plan for primary server, I can make one backup server. But the method, procedure, steps are different. When I'm coming to the practical, I will show you what steps we have to follow to make this machine as a backup server. But manually we have to install Active Directory domain service, and when I'm installing Active Directory domain service, is asking clearly there, sir, you're making backup server for primary server, you're making backup server for primary, so what is your domain name? What is your domain name? So not tell me I have to give the new domain name or same domain, existing domain name, you can say. We have to give the existing domain name. So what is the domain name here? That is a zoom.com, okay? And this name we are assigning by the help of DNS service. So we require two services, Active Directory and DNS, to make backup server. And technically your primary server is called what here? DC. And your backup server is called ADC here. Backup server is called ADC. So what is ADC stands here? ADC stands additional domain controller. Additional domain. Remember this name. Your primary server is called DC, domain controller. Your backup server is called additional domain controller. Okay. So additional domain controller also is having this database file. ntds.dit is available in primary server, that is read and writable. In backup server also this database file is there, and this database file also is having read and writable. So in backup server also we have read and writable database file. So what is the meaning of read and writable? So it means by sitting on backup server also we can create the account, we can delete the account, we can manage the account, we can manage the permissions also, we can manage the group policies also, right? So always we no need to go to DC, we no need to go to primary server to manage. We can sit on backup server also, we can manage the accounts, we can manage, right? But once you create the account in DC, automatically this account, or once you change anything in group policy of DC, automatically this Active Directory database and this group policy will update to my ADC, right? So whenever you create one account in ADC, automatically this user account will update to my DC. So whenever you do any changes in ADC group policy, that will update to DC. Whenever you do any change in group policy of DC, that will update to ADC. By sitting on DC, if I change one user password, automatically it's going to replicate to my ADC. By sitting on ADC, if I change one user roaming profile, home folder, automatically this is going to update to my DC. So it means between DC and ADC, we have updates. We have updates, and technically these updates are called replication here. It's called what here? Replication. So the replication is taking place from DC to ADC and ADC to DC, and this replication always is automatic. We no need to do anything for replication. Once you create the account from DC, it will update to ADC. Once you do anything in ADC in Active Directory, if you create the account, delete the account, manage the account, is going to update to my DC also. So it means between DC and ADC we have vice versa replication here, right? The accounts are updating from DC to ADC and ADC to DC. So remember here, only Active Directory database, only the group policies will update from DC to ADC and ADC to DC. So my DC is having same name and same password, ADC also is having same name and same username and password. Now go to the client machine. Now already you can see in the client machine we have preferred DNS address, primary DNS server IP. Sorry, it means my DC IP. Now go to the client machine, give the alternate address. On which IP your backup server is running, that IP address will become here alternate DNS address here, right, on the client machine. Now next day when my user is logging, trying to log in, the request first will go to primary server, and this time my primary server is busy, right? So the client will send the request to my backup server ADC. ADC is having same name, same password or not here? So ADC will give authentication, then user can log in. So it means some of the user now is logging by the help of DC, some of the user is logging by the help of ADC. So not only login service is fast always or slow here? Slow. Now more than hundreds of users at a time can log into my clients or not here? If the DC is busy, ADC is giving authentication. If ADC is busy, DC is giving authentication, because DC and ADC is having same name and same user account, same passwords are available, right? Now in future, suddenly my DC is not working. Example, one day my DC is, I'm finding the DC is not working. Suddenly DC is failed. So still my users can log in by the help of ADC. Still the user can log into the client machine, and my ADC is giving authentication here, right? So like this, can we plan one more backup server? Yes. If we have DC, we can make one backup server, same method, or we can make more than one backup. Some of the companies are maintaining only one backup server. Some of the companies are maintaining more than one backup server. But the method and procedure is same. Just we require one machine with OS and unique IP address connectivity. We require them. Okay. So we have this one. So now we have a DC. Now in future, suddenly my DC is down. By the help of ADC, right? Can we give the authentication to my users or not here? So estimate in future, suddenly my system 2 ADC is not working. System 2 ADC is not working. So still my users can log in? Yes, by the help of DC. So estimate system 2 ADC is suddenly burned, crashed. Can I take one more computer, new computer? Can I configure one new backup server? Yes, because we have a primary server. If we have a primary server, by using primary server, by using DC, we can make one ADC or more than one ADC. There is no restriction. But assume I have two backup servers. System 2 is backup server and system 3 also is a backup server, and system 1 is my DC. And suddenly now today my DC is not working. My DC is not working. So by the help of ADC, right? By the help of system 2 ADC, by the help of system 3 ADC, my users can log into the client machines or not here? Yes. But the question is what here? One day I went to the interview. The person is asking questions. Sir, I have DC. I have two ADCs, right? Suddenly my DC is down. Still my users can log into the client machines or not? Yes, because the accounts are available in backup server. Backup server is having same name, same password. The backup server will give authentication, then user can log in. But the person is asking the second question. Okay, sir. Now, by the help of two ADCs, I am giving authentication to my clients. That is good. But question is what here? I want to make DC now. I want to make DC because my system 1 DC is crashed. It's not working. By the help of ADC, I am serving the services to my clients. But by using these ADCs, can I configure one new DC or not? By using DC, I can create one ADC or I can create more than one ADC, right? But here the question is what? DC is not working. By the help of ADC, we are giving authentication. So by using ADC, can we configure one new DC or not? Yes or no? Answer is what? 50-50 or yes? Answer is yes. So if your answer is yes, really, you are the great person who is designing this type of service, because the Microsoft is saying answer is what? No. Still now the option is not available. So remember here, by the help of DC, I can make one ADC or I can make more than one ADC. But by using ADCs, remember here, by using backup server, by using ADC, we cannot create one primary server. We cannot create one DC. Option is not available here. But solution is there, option is not available. Okay, remember. So what is ADC here? ADC, if you already have one domain controller in the domain, you can add additional domain controller to the domain, improve the reliability of network services. And adding additional domain control can help provide fault tolerance here. Means if the DC is down, still my user can log in by the help of ADC. Backup server, balance the load of the existing domain controllers and provide additional infrastructure support to the sites. What is sites? We have one separate class on the day we'll discuss. Now next is what? Replication. Replication means updates. And here the replication in both the servers. We have read and writable. Try to understand this slide here. Last line. So it is written here between two read and writable DCs. So what is the meaning of two DCs? Two DCs means not two primary server. Remember here, because when you open the MCSC textbook or whenever you go to the interview, it will say, sir, in my domain, I have two DCs. In my domain, I have two DCs by the name of zoom.com. So it means in my domain, I am not having two primary servers by the name of zoom.com. One primary server, one backup. So remember here, whenever the word is coming, two DCs, so means one DC and one ADC here. That is a technical thing. Okay, between these two DCs we have read and writable, and this replication is what here? Multi-master replication. Multi-master means if I do any change DC, that will update to my ADC. Next day again, if I do some changes in DC, that will update to ADC or not? Or next moment, if I again do any change in DC, that will update to my ADC? Yes. If I do any change in ADC, it will update. So here the replication is not one time. The replication is what here? Multiple times between these two DCs. So that's why it's called multi-master replication here, right? Any doubt? So in every network, how many servers we require? At least two servers. One primary server, one backup server here, right? So please copy this slide. Here you have to remember here, replication means updates. Please copy fast this one. It's done, finished, all of you. Now before going practical, I want to show you one more thing here in the real time that is very, very helpful for you, and we have to do it. Now right now we are saying we are working on domain model, and in our domain we have two servers. One system one is primary server, and the system 2 is my backup server here. So system 1 is primary server, system 2 is my backup server. Now the question is what, when you go to the interview it will ask this question, sir, between DC and ADC which type of data will replicate? Because in our server we have two types of data. One is local hard disk data, because in every machine we have a local hard disk here, in DC also, in ADC also, in client also. And one is Active Directory database. So which database replicate between this DC and ADC? Only Active Directory data will replicate, or Active Directory plus your hard disk data also will replicate? Active Directory and hard disk. Now try to understand. The last class I say that in our network, to allow the user to access the data from the network, we are storing all the user share folders and user roaming profiles, home folders in our server. In DC. In DC we have E drive. In ADC also we have a E drive. In DC E drive, I am storing user share folders, roaming profiles and home folders. And now whenever the user is logging to the client machine, whenever the user is trying to log into the client machine, my client machine will give the authentication, will forward the request to DC or ADC, right? User will get the authentication, but from the network the user want to access roaming profile, user want to access the share folders, user want to access the home folder. So now tell me, this data will update to which machine hard disk? System 1 DC hard disk, system 2 ADC hard disk, or both hard disks? Sir, every machine is having local hard disk. If you store something in one system, in one hard disk, now tell me automatically this data is going to copy in my second machine hard disk? No, right? So here, give the answer, sir, only Active Directory data will replicate between DC and ADC, only Active Directory and group policies, not your local drive data, right? If you create one share folder in DC system 1 hard disk, so that share folder automatically by the same name will create in system 2 ADC hard disk? No, it's not going to create. So user data is available in DC. Now assume it, whenever the user is logging, maybe DC will give authentication or ADC. When the user accessing the data, the user accessing data from DC from system 1 hard disk. But assume it next day the system 1 is not working, then what? If the system 1 is down, still the user can log into the client machine? Yes, by the help of backup server. Now tell me, the user can access the share folders, can access the roaming profile home folder? No, because data is available in DC hard disk. So that's why the Microsoft is saying, and experts are saying, said don't store the user personal data in DC hard disk and ADC hard disk. Don't store the user personal data in DC and ADC. So what we have to do now? So the experts are saying, sir, you have to make one server for storage. You have to make one server for storage. So we have to configure one machine as a storage. So example, I am taking system 6 here, right? And the IP of this machine is 10.0.0.6. Join this machine to domain and store all the user. I am saying this is my storage box here, right? Store all the user share folders here, roaming profiles here and home folders. So now by the help of DC or by the help of ADC, give the permission. Now the user is logging, maybe DC will give authentication or ADC. Now the user accessing the data from the network, and whenever the user accessing share folders, roaming profiles and home folder, this data will update to my storage server here, right? So in future, if the DC is not working, system 1 is not working, still my user can log in by the help of ADC. Yes, still my user can access share folders, roaming profile, home folder. Yes, is accessing from storage server. So that's why the experts are saying, said in our network we require 3 servers. We require 3 servers. System 1 DC, system 2 ADC and 1 storage box. Said what is storage box? Try to understand. Is not a new word for us. Wherever your share folders are there, wherever your roaming profiles are there, wherever your home folders are there, wherever the user data is there, that machine is called what here? Storage box, right? It's called file server also. It's called storage. But in storage box also we have a hard disk. If the storage box hard disk is burned or damaged, then what? User data is lost. Here also we have risk, but we have a solution. The Microsoft is saying configure the RAIDs. Configure the RAIDs. Take the multiple hard disks and configure the RAIDs. If one hard disk is burned, still other hard disk will give the answer. But how to configure the storage box? How to configure the RAID configuration? We have a session. We have a last class on that day. We'll discuss about this one. Okay, not today. But I'm giving the answer to you. I'm designing the network. So when you're designing the network, at least we require 3 servers, 1 DC, 1 ADC and 1 storage box, and number of machine as a clients here, right? So your network should be like this. But today we are discussing how to configure DC and how to configure ADC. And today already we know how to configure DC. So today we are going for directly practical of how to configure ADC. So in the lab, how many machines we require for today practical? 2 machines. System 1, you have to make DC, and system 2 ADC. And in the lab I'm giving 2 machines to you, system 1, system 2, but both machines are work group today. Both the machines are work group. It's having operating system, but the machines are work group. So now tell me, in the lab you have to start the practical from first DC or ADC? First DC. If the DC is there, we can configure backup, so we can configure ADC. So once again in the lab you're going to revise your subject, how to configure DC. Already you know that one. I'm not giving the steps here, but I'm giving in the class how to configure ADC. But you have to configure first DC. So before going system to ADC, first check system 1 is your DC or not. So in the class already I made the system 1 is a DC. I will go to the system 2, I will configure ADC. But how to make this machine DC? So first, in this machine we require server operating system, and in this machine IP address. When you're making DC, in this machine the IP address and preference address should be same here, okay? And there is no requirement of alternate DNS address, don't give it. In our DC we require IP and preferred, so 10.1 is a preferred DNS address. Then next what we have to do, we have to install Active Directory domain service by using add roles and features, right? We are adding the role, but by using flag we have to promote also. We have to go to the flag, we have to click promote this server to domain controller, and one new page will open, deployment page. In that we have to select the last option, add a new forest. Forest means network. In our network this is the first server, that is called root server. Select add a new forest, then type the domain name, unique name you have to type. So example I have given zoom.com. Then after that we know domain function level and forest function level we have to select 2003. Then give the password, confirm password. Then after that just next, finish, install it, and after that this machine restart. And after this machine is restarted, you have to confirm whether this machine is DC or not. We have to log in as the administrator first, and you can see here in server manager console, are you finding Active Directory, are you finding DNS service here? Yes. And check the domain name, right click on computer icon, go to the properties, and you can see this machine is having 2012 OS, this machine is my system 1, and domain name is zoom.com. But through command we have to check whether this machine is primary server or not. So we have to type what here? Netspace account. So if you type Netspace account, press enter. So this machine is my DC, is my primary server. So remember two things, my domain name is what here? Zoom.com, and my server IP is 10.0.1. So in the lab, right, already you know. If you don't know, go back to the steps and you can check how to make DC. So in the lab first you have to make system 1 as a DC. Now you have to go to the second machine to make ADC. So please write down the first lab today, configuring additional domain controller. In brackets write down backup server. Configuring additional domain controller. Configuring additional domain controller. In brackets write down backup server. In brackets you have to write down backup server. So your ADC is a backup server, okay? So please write down the first point. Configure the system 1, configured system 1 DC, configured system 1 DC, primary server, configured system 1 DC, primary server by the name zoom.com. Configured system 1 DC, primary server by the name zoom.com. And already we know how to configure. So in the lab you have two machine setup is there. You have to make system 1 first DC, and then we have to make system 2 as a ADC. But before making ADC, before going system 2, you have to confirm system 1 domain name is what here? Zoom.com. But maybe in the lab your domain names are different, that you have to check here, okay? Then next we have to check what is the IP. Our IP is 10.0.0.1 here, okay? Now I'm going to my second machine to make ADC. So write down next point, in system 2 server, login as an administrator. In system 2 server, login as an administrator. Dash work group. Dash work group. So in this machine we require server OS, and this machine should be what here? Work group first, right? Before making ADC, this machine should be work group, okay? In system 2 server, login as an administrator dash work group. So you can see here, in this machine I am logging as admin, but tell me before admin name, are you finding any name? No. So this is called work group admin. Now check the operating system. If I right click on computer icon, if I go to the properties, I have 2012 operating system. I can use 2003 also, I can use 2008 also. When you're making backup server subdomains, there is no problem there. And this is my system 2, and right now this machine is what here? Work group here, right? Write down next point, assign the IP address. Assign the IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. And alternate DNS address is DC IP address. And alternate DNS address is DC. DC means your primary server IP address, okay? and alternate DNS address is DC, primary server IP address. So on the screen you can see here my system 2 backup server IP address is 10.2, preferred DNS address is same, alternate is 10.1, but maybe in the real time in the lab your IPs are different, that you have to check here. Okay, so I'm going to my system 2 now, right? So if I right click on computer icon, if I go to the properties, this machine is having server OS, this machine is my system 2, this machine is work group. Now we have to assign the IP. Right click on network icon, click on properties, click on change adapter settings, right click on Ethernet, click on properties, select the IPv4, click on properties, and basically in the lab is like this, there is no IPs. So we have to select what here, use the following IP always to give the static IP, manual IP, and give the IP. So network portion should be same because I want direct communication, so IP should be unique, that is 10.2. Subnet mark is 255.0.0.0. Default gateway is not required today, but we require preferred DNS address. Preferred DNS address is your same IP, and alternate DNS address is your primary server IP address, right? Now I have one question here out of this subject, this one. One day I went to the interview, the person is asking the question, sir, to one machine, to client, or maybe to server, can we give more than one alternate address? We can give more than one alternate IP address. I'm saying alternate DNS address. Can we give? Yes, we can give. If you have only two options, but you can give more than two here. How? Don't remove it. You have to go to this option. Which option? Advanced, and go to this second option, DNS, and here we can add more than one alternate. So example, this is a client. This is a client machine. I want to add one more backup server. Is there? 10.3 is backup server. I want to add that backup server here. So we have to go to the add and give that. Example 10.0.3. Click on add. So how many alternate we have? Two alternates and one preferred DNS address. So we can assign more than one alternate address by using advanced. But today I'm not required. But in interview or in real time when required, we have to assign like this by using which option? Advanced. So click OK and click on close it. Our job is done. Okay. Now two things are completed. One is operating system, machine with OS and IP address, but still this machine is what here? Work group here. So I have to convert this machine work group to backup server. We have to install manually Active Directory domain service. So please write down next point. In system 2, open the server manager console. In system 2, open the server manager console. Now tell me, Active Directory domain service automatically will install or we have to install? We have to install. Then after installation we have to promote also to make backup server. So open the server manager console, click on add roles and features, click on add roles and features, then after that write down, click 3 times next, 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 click 3 times next, next, next. So click next, one more time next, and we are sitting on system 2, the IP address is 10.0.2, click next. Now we are in roles here. Roles means services. Now tell me, which role, which service you require now? We require ADDS, Active Directory Domain Service. So write down, check the box, Active Directory Domain Service. Check the box, Active Directory Domain Service, and click on add features. Click on add features, and after that write down, click 3 times next, 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 install and close. After add features, write down, click 3 times next, 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 install and close. So click next, one more time next, one more time next, click on install. Your installation is started, and after installation is done, we have to close also. But tell me, after installation is done, so this machine will act as a DC or ADC? It will act as a ADC. Answer is wrong, sir. After Active Directory service is done, this machine will not act as a DC, it will not act as a ADC. This machine still is work group. So we have to promote the service. When you're promoting, we have to decide this machine should be DC or ADC. And how to promote the service? By using this flag symbol. So please write down. It will take some time. Meanwhile, we'll write down the steps. Please write down next line. In System 2 Server Manager Console, click on flag. In System 2 Server Manager Console, click on flag. Click on flag and click on promote this server to a domain controller. click on flag and click on promote this server to a domain controller. Promote this server to a domain controller. Click on flag and click on promote this server to a domain controller. Okay. Now the new page will open, and the last class what we have done to make DC, we selected add a new forest. But today I don't want to make DC, I want to make subdomain, I want to make backup server. So please write down next line, select add a domain controller, select add a domain controller to an existing domain. Select add a domain controller to an existing domain. So it means what? I want to make a new domain, but this machine should be I want to make new domain controller, but this machine should be existing server in my domain here, right? So what is the last point you is written there? Select add a domain controller to an existing domain. Okay. Then next is asking, sir, what is your domain name? What is your domain name? So I am making this machine as a backup server for my DC. What is my DC domain name? Zoom.com. So please write down, type the domain name dash zoom.com. Type the domain name dash zoom.com. So in the lab your domain names are different, that you have to type there. Okay. Then next is asking credentials. Is asking what here? Credentials. What is the meaning of credentials? Name and password. Is asking, sir, who is having right to do this configuration? So we have user or admin? Admin. But which admin? We have two admin. Right now system 2 is local. It's a work group, right? So work group admin is having right to do this configuration, or your system 1 DC admin is having right? Your system 1 DC admin, not work group admin. So write down next line, click on change. Click on change. Now once you click change, write down next line, username. Is asking username and password there. So write down username dash. First we have to click on what? Change. Click on change. Then write down username dash administrator @zoom.com. So we have to type our DC, our domain admin name and password, not your system 2 local admin name and password, right? Username dash administrator @zoom.com. Then next line, password zoom_123. Password zoom_123. Click OK and click next. Password zoom_123. Click OK and click on next. Now see here, once you click next, first it will check your domain name is correct or not. Then it will check this admin name and password is correct or not. If everything is okay, you will go to the next page here. Now you can observe here, we'll continue, just hold down. It is giving the message installation is succeeded on system 2, but the configuration still is required. So we can close it, and you can see Active Directory services added, but still this machine is what here? Work group here. Okay. So we have to go to now flag. So in system 2 we have to click on flag and click on promote this server to domain controller. The new page is open, and in this page we have so many options, but the last class to make DC we selected this option. Which option? Add a new forest. Is asking root domain. Root domain means your DC is called root also, root server also, but we don't want to make root server, already we have. So we are selecting the first option. What is the first option? Add a domain controller to an existing domain. To make backup server, remember here always we have to select this option. Okay. Then is asking supply the domain information for this operation. Domain name we have to type, that is zoom.com. You can type in capital letters, small letters, no problem there. Then is asking supply the credential to perform this operation. So we have to click on change, and we have to type not system 2 admin name and password, DC admin name and password. So we have to type what here? Administrator @ your domain name, that is a zoom.com. Password is zoom_123, and click on OK and click on next. But observe here, once you click next, one blue line will cross here. It is verifying whether this name, domain name, and this admin name and password is correct or not. Is sending the request to DC and is confirming this one. And if everything is okay, you will go to the next page. But if you are getting red color message, please remember, in the lab, if you are getting red color message, maybe something is problem, connectivity problem is there, or maybe your information is wrong there. You have to check. Now see here, everything is okay. In the next page is saying, sir, with Active Directory we require these two services also. What service? DNS. By the help of DNS we are assigning the name. Compulsory we require this service, and automatically installing we no need to install. And you can say with Active Directory one more service installing. That is called global catalog. Now tell me, the global catalog is not compulsory here. Can we uncheck this box? Yes, without global catalog also we can configure subdomains. We can configure backup server. But tell me, the last class we seen how to make DC. When I'm making DC, are you finding global catalog boxes check? When you're making DC, global catalog boxes check? Yes or no? All of you? What? Not sure. I think I have not discussed. Box is check or uncheck? Box is check. Can you uncheck the box? No, option is not available. So it means global catalog service compulsory requiring root server. Without global catalog we cannot make DC. But without global catalog we can configure subdomains. But today we are not discussing what is global catalog. But if it is there, that is a good feature microservicing. But what is a global catalog? We'll discuss later. We have a session. Okay. And what is RODC also? We have a separate topic on that. They will discuss. What is sites also? We'll discuss later. But we need password and confirm password. The last class already I say that this is called directory service restore mode password, right? You can give any password or you give same password, it will accept it. So write down next line. After next, write down next line. Password, type the password and confirm password. Zoom underscore 123. What you are using, you can type that one. There is no problem. Type the password and confirm password. Zoom underscore 123 and click on next. Type the password and confirm password. Zoom underscore 123 and click on next. Now observe here. Once you click next here, in next page, is asking, sir, you can see here is a delegation to this DNS service cannot created because the authoritative parent zone cannot find. So it's saying DNS service is not there in this machine. Sir, this is not a error, this is a warning only. It's saying DNS service is not found, is not there. Once you click next, with Active Directory DNS also will install. So what we have to do now? Just next. So write down, click next one more time. Now once you click next, observe here, it's asking something here. Said you want to make this machine as a backup server. That is the additional server. That is good. But this additional server has to be replicate the data with which server? We have to give the information. So DC. So we have to drag. Can you find your DC information? Yes, that you have to select. So please write down next line. Select replicate from dash. Select replicate from dash system1.zoom.com. Select replicate from dash system1.zoom.com. Select replicate from dash system1.zoom.com. That is our DC information. Then after write down 4 times. Next, 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 next. 4 times. Write down 4 times. Next, 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 next. Then write down click on install and restart. Click on install and restart. So once you click install, your installation is started. It will take hardly 5 to 10 minutes. Then automatically this machine will restart. After restart, you have to go for verification here. Okay. But you can see here in this page we have one more option. Today I am not touching that one. That is called install from media. Install from media is a new option to make backup server. Is a new option which is designed in 2012. This option is not available in your previous server operating system. But today I am not discussing about this one. What method today we are following? This method we are using in 2003. We are using 2008. Now we are in 2012. This is called previous method. But once you know previous method, then you can understand what is a new method. So we have one separate class on that day. Once again I will show you how to make backup server, but that day we will use this option. Which option? Install from media. In short also is called IFM here. Remember this one. But today I am not using this one. So click next. Once you click next, you can see this is a backup server. Is having their own database, and this database is storing in C drive, and this database is read and writable database. So once I click next, is giving the summary here, right? Configuring this server as an additional domain controller for the domain of zoom.com. That is correct. Click next, and is checking the prerequisite site checks. Means whatever the information you provided, whether it's correct or not. If you are getting red color message on the top, means something is missing, some information is wrong. Go back, make the correction, then click next. But you can see here my information, everything is okay. It's saying all prerequisite site checks passed successfully. Click on install. So once I click install, my installation is started, right? It will take hardly 5 to 10 minutes. Then this machine will restart. Then we have to go for verification. But here in the class I am not completing the installation because I have to show other servers here. But in the lab you have to complete the installation. Then you have to go for verification, and we have 3 verifications to verify whether this machine is backup server or not here, right? So please write down first. Then I write down verification. So write down the first verification. in system 1 server DC, sorry, in system 1 ADC backup server, in system 1, sorry, system 1 or system 2? Yeah, sorry, system 2. In system 2 backup server, ADC backup server. In system 2 ADC backup server, in system 2 ADC backup server, login as an administrator. In system 2 ADC backup server, login as a administrator. Okay. The next point, right click on computer icon, click on properties. Right click on computer icon, click on properties and check the domain name. Right click on computer icon, click on properties and check the domain name. Right click on computer icon, click on properties and check the domain name. What is the domain name? -zoom.com. -zoom.com. Okay. But in the lab, whatever your domain name is there, that will show you. Okay. Now tell me here, I have one question here. What is my system 1 domain name? Zoom.com. What is my system 2 domain name? Zoom.com. Now tell me, see these names and tell me which machine. Assume you are the new person here and already is designed. Right? System 1 domain name is Zoom.com. System 2 domain name also is what here? Zoom.com. So now tell me, see this name and tell me exactly which machine is primary server, which machine is backup server. Can you give the answer? No. So we have to use our command. That is what? Netspace account. So please write down. Open the command prompt and type Netspace account. Open the command prompt and type Netspace account and enter. Now try to remember this one. Then we'll go for the next option. See here, whenever you type this command, now tell me what it will display. In I am sitting on backup server, system 2, ADC. It will show you what? Yeah, computer role is what here? See here, it will show you, whenever you type this command, it will show you only two names. One primary, one backup. One primary, one backup. It will not show you DC, it will not show you ADC, it will not show you subdomain like that. It will show you primary or backup. Apart from these two names, it will not display any other name. So if I type this command in DC, system 1, what is showing? Primary server. If I type this command in system 2, ADC, what it will show you? Backup. So write down -backup. So by seeing this one, you can say, okay, system 1 is my primary server and system 2 is my backup. Backup means ADC. Then write down next, third verification. In DC, open the ADUC console. In DC, open the ADUC console and create some user accounts, user 1 and user 2. In DC, open the ADUC console and create some user accounts, user 1 and user 2. And already we know how to create the user accounts, and today create the account with passwords. Okay. In DC, open the ADUC console and create some user accounts, user 1 and user 2, and check these user accounts in ADC, in ADC backup server. Check this user account in ADC backup server, in ADUC console. Check these user accounts in ADC backup server, in ADUC console. Okay. But do one thing in the lab, create some user account in ADC also, and you can find this user account in DC, and create some account in DC and go to ADC, refresh, you can find the accounts, and create some account in ADC, you can find these accounts in DC, and this is called replication. The replication is automatic, and always replication is fast here. But in interview it will ask this question, sir, I created some user account in DC, that account is replicated to my ADC. I created some user account in ADC, that user account is replicated to my DC, but I created some account in DC, that user account is not showing in ADC. So example, I created some user account in DC that is replicated to my ADC, but if I create some account in ADC that is not replicating to my DC, so it means my replication is stopped. So then how to get back the replication? So Microsoft is saying two options are there. The first option is what? Restart. Restart your DC and ADC, then your replication will take place. Maybe sometime the replication will stop. Maybe in the lab you created some account in DC, is not replicating to ADC, or you created some account in ADC is not replicating to DC. Connectivity is fine, but still replication stops. So then we have to go for restart the DC and ADC, then replication will take place. But in real time, when the production is going on, we cannot restart. So then second option is what? Wait for half an hour and maximum 180 minutes. After half an hour is replicated, that is good. If it is not replicated, we have to wait for 180 minutes. So now tell me the real time, production time, which is the best option? Wait for half an hour. That is the best, because in the real time we cannot restart the servers. But we have two options. If the production time is not going on, like lunch time is there or evening is there, then you can restart the servers, or in the lab also, right? We have our servers we created. Multiple times you can restart, no problem. But in the real time we have to wait for replication, then it will replicate. Okay. So till now we have discussed what is domain. Now tell me, this is called single domain or multiple domain here? This is a single domain. Why? Because what is the domain name here? Zoom.com. What is the domain name? Zoom.com. So in single domain, how many servers we have? Two servers. One DC, one ADC. So we have two DCs, one primary server, one backup server. So your network should be like this. So till now here, in logical structure, we have discussed in every network, we require one DC and we require one ADC, and clients are common there. Okay. Now come to our next topic, next structure. There is what here? Tree here. So please write down the heading tree, and please copy this slide. Is done, finished. Now our next here structure is what? Logical structure is what? Tree. So if anyone is asking to you, sir, what is tree? What tree contained? We seen the tree or not? Yes. What tree contained? Tree contained branches without root. What? First what? Root or branch? Root. Okay. So till now you can see here, we have seen how to configure the domain. In our domain, system 1 is our DC and system 2 is our ADC. We have a number of clients. If I create one account in DC, that is my primary server, that will replicate to my ADC. If I create some account in ADC, automatically this account will replicate to my DC. And whenever my user is logging to the client machine, maybe DC or ADC will give authentication here. Okay. So this is called single domain. But now we are going for tree structure. Tree contained root and tree contained branches here, right? So what the microservice is saying, by the help of tree structure, the microservice is saying we can expand the network. We can expand the net. If you want to expand the domains, so we have to take the help of tree structure, right? And you want to do easy and centralized management, take the help of tree structure, right? And you want to give the best service to our customers, to our staff, we have to take the help of tree structure. So by the help of tree structure, first we can expand the network, one. We can do easy and centralized management, one. Third is what? We can give the best service to our staff, to our users here, right? So that's why we are going for tree structure. So in tree, which server is created first? That is called root server, right? So this server is created first. right? That is called root domain controller, and the domain name is what here? Zoom.com. We have servers, we have clients here, okay? So this is called single domain. But example, after some time a boss is coming saying, sir, in USA, sir, we are opening the new branch. We require new domain, but this domain should work under Zoom.com. In USA, we require new domain with server and clients, but this domain, this server should work under Zoom.com. So in Secunderabad also, we are opening the new branch, example. So we require complete domain here, new domain, right? And this domain should work under Zoom.com. So in MCSC, example, we are opening the new branch, MCSC branch. So here we require new domain for this MCSC department with server, with client, but this server should work under Zoom.com. So what is my root domain name here? Zoom.com. So under Zoom.com, I want to create one more domain by the name of MCSC. So if I give like this name to my server, we know how to configure server, how to configure client. If I install Active Directory, if I promote, is asking the domain name. If I give the domain name MCSC.com, can I make one new server or not? Yes. But now tell me, by seeing this name, MCSC.com, by seeing this name, tell me the MCSC.com is a subdomain of Zoom.com or is working under Zoom.com? No. So we can say the MCSC is a new domain cell, okay? But if I want to make MCSC is a subdomain of Zoom.com, so subdomains has to follow the name of parent server here. So example, if I give the domain name MCSC Zoom.com, MCSC Zoom.com. So now tell me, the first domain name is what here? Zoom.com. Second domain name is what here? MCSC Zoom.com. So by seeing the second name, MCSC Zoom.com, can you say MCSC Zoom.com is a subdomain of Zoom.com? Answer is no. Why? Because first name is Zoom.com. Second name is what? MCSC Zoom.com. So both the names are two different domain names are there. So the second domain is not a subdomain of Zoom.com. But if you want to make second domain is a subdomain of Zoom.com, so we have to separate MCSC name and we have to separate Zoom.com, right? So then you can say this domain is what here? Subdomain of Zoom.com. And how to separate? To make the separate these two names, we have to give dot here. We have to give what here? Dot. You can see now the name is what? MCSC dot Zoom.com. So if I give the name like this, MCSC dot Zoom.com, so you can say now the Zoom.com is called root server and MCSC is called subdomain here, right? But remember here, MCSC is having their own server. MCSC is having their own Active Directory. If I create some user account in MCSC domain, that is not going to update on Zoom.com. If I create some user account in Zoom.com server, it's not going to update it on MCSC because there are two primary servers we have now. There is no backup server here, okay? Zoom.com is primary server, MCSC is primary server. They have their own Active Directory database there, right? But MCSC information is available in Zoom.com. By seeing this name, you can say, okay, MCSC is a subdomain of Zoom.com. You can say, now, under MCSC, I want to create one more subdomain by the name of MCTS. Can we create or not here? So, and I want to make new domain in MCTS department, but this domain should work under MCSC.Zoom.com. So now tell me what name it will follow now. MCTS.MCSC.Zoom.com. So now tell me in front of you, how many domain names are displaying? 3. One is MCTS, one is MCSC, and one is Zoom.com. MCTS is working under MCSC, and MCTS is working under Zoom.com. So it will remember here, MCTS information is there in MCSC, and MCSC information is there in Zoom.com, and the Zoom is a root server here. Zoom is a root server. And here, if I create some user account in this domain, which domain? MCTS. Example M1. So remember here, this account is going to store in MCTS Active Directory only. But this user information is you cannot find in MCSC. It's not available in Zoom.com because I am having their own servers here. Okay. So now under MCTS, I want to create one more subdomain here by the name of sales, and this server should work under MCTS. Now tell me what name it will follow. Sales.MCTS.MCSC.Zoom.com. So now tell me in front of you, how many domain names are displaying? 4. One is sales, one is MCTS, one is MCSC, one is Zoom.com. So sales information is there in MCTS, and sales and MCTS information is there in MCSC, and sales, MCTS, MCSC information is there in Zoom.com. And now tell me who is the root server here? Zoom.com is called root server. Who is the subdomains here? MCSC, MCTS, and sales. Now MCSC is called what? Zoom.com is called parent server, right? MCSC is called child, MCTS is called grandchild, and sales is called great grandchild. You can say this one. Now tell me, every domains are following the name of parent server or not here, right? So it's called hierarchy tree structure. It's called what here? hierarchy tree. So means the childs are following the name of parents here. So now tell me, your network has expanded or not here? In your organization, you have multiple domains, but the new domains are working under Zoom.com. But good thing is what? All these domains information is available in root server in Zoom.com. So whenever the time is coming to apply some restrictions, policies, we no need to go to all these domains. By sitting on Zoom.com, if you apply some policies, we have a session, I will show you how to apply the policies. By sitting on Zoom.com, can we restrict something to MCSC users? Yes. MCTS domain users? Yes. Sales also? Yes. So we can do easy and centralized management on the policies, on the permissions we can apply there. Okay. So now tell me, this structure is called tree structure or not here? If you reverse the structure, it look like a tree. So now tell me, under Zoom, I want in USA one domain, and what is the complete name? USA.zoom.com. This is one new child domain. Okay. In second-Earbuds also, domain name is second-Earbuds.zoom.com. So now tell me, in this diagram, in this, Zoom is a root server parent, MCSC is a child, sales is a second-Earbuds also child. In USA also we have child, but under USA, I want to create one more domain by the name of sales. So sales.usa.zoom.com. So it's look like a tree structure. Okay. So that's why you can see in the slide is written here. In tree is a set of one or more domain with contiguous namespace. Means the names, the new domains are following the name of parent server. And if more than one domain exists, you can combine the multiple domain into the hierarchical tree structure. Means the childs are following the name of parent server, and parent is sharing the name with the child also here, right? And the first domain created in the network, that is called root domain controller in our first tree. So this is called tree structure. And who is the first server here? Zoom.com is also called what here? Root domain controller. And other domain in the same domain tree are called what here? Child here, right? A domain immediately above another domain in the same domain tree, it is a parent. Now tell me, for sales, who is the parent server here? MCTS. For sales and MCTS, MCSC. And for sales and MCTS and MCSC, Zoom.com is parent server, is also called root server here. Okay. So you can see in this diagram here, I created one new domain, ms.com, right, is a parent. Under that I created one child domain by the name of mcitp.ms.com. In that I created one more subdomain, mcts.mcitp.ms.com. So this complete structure is called what here? Tree structure. It's called what here? Tree. In the tree we have parent server and we have a new domains are child, which is following the name of parent. Okay. Now here I want to design the new network here. So under Zoom.com, I want to create one new subdomain. Can we create the new subdomain here? Yes. So I want to create one new subdomain here. Now what are the requirements here to create the child domain? So to create the child domain, we have requirement. The first requirement is we require one machine. So example, I am taking system 3 machine, and in this machine we require server operating system. So I am using the same one, but once install OS, basically this machine is what here? Work group. The next most important requirement is IP address. So IP address, you can use same class IP or you can use different class IP, but we require connectivity and communication. I am using the same class IP, same network portion, but you can use two different network classes also or portions also. Okay. So IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. Remember this one. But alternate DNS address is your primary server IP. That is 10.0.0.1. Okay. Then I want to make this machine as a child domain controller, but once install Active Directory, right? This machine, sorry, once install OS, this machine is what here? Work group. So to make child, we require Active Directory service, we require DNS service. Manually we have to install. And when I'm making child, is asking the first, what is your parent name, sir? What is your parent name? What I have to give? Zoom.com. Then is asking, say, new domain name. What is the child name? And child name you have to give without any extension. Without any extension. That is called NetBIOS name. That is called what here? NetBIOS. So child name, I want to give MCSC. So what I have to give here? Only MCSC. But after completing installation, your domain name will show you mcsc.zoom.com. So by seeing this name, you can say, okay, this is a child. Now this child in his network is having their own clients or not here? And for this child, can we create one backup server also? Yes. But remember here, the system 2 is a backup server only for Zoom, not for child. So child is having their own backup server. So now tell me in front of you, how many domain names are there here? How many domains are there? 2 domains. One is zoom.com and one is mcsc.zoom.com. So we have two domains in our network. Okay. But can I add one more subdomain here? Yes, I want to create one more subdomain by the help of Active Directory, by the help of DNS service, and the domain name I am giving MCTS. So what is the complete name? mcts.mcitp.ms.com. mcsc.zoom.com, and this domain is having their own clients here, right? Now every domain, now tell me in front of you how many domains are there? 3. One is Zoom, one is MCSC, one is MCTS. But remember here, every domain is having their own Active Directory. I created some user account, user 1 and user 2 is available in zoom.com only, not in MCSC, not in MCTS. If I create some user account in MCTS domain M1, this account is available on in MCTS Active Directory, but this account is not available in MCSC domain Active Directory, is not available in zoom.com also. But Zoom is having information of MCSC and MCTS domain. Only domains information is, but not users, user password. But the good thing is what you can do management one, and the next good thing is what here, one domain user without permission of admin can log into other domain clients. Within the tree, one domain user can log into other domain clients without permission of administrators, right? So without permission of admin you can log in. Example, one day this user, which user? U1 user, which belongs to Zoom, right? This information is Zoom, but this user want to log in from MCTS clients. Can we log in or not? Yes, without permission of admin, without asking to admin, you can come here, you can type u1@zoom.com, because you have to tell you belongs to which domain. So once you press enter, this client is working for MCTS, so this client will forward the request to MCTS Active Directory. But tell me, MCTS Active Directory is having any information of U1 and password? No. So what MCTS will do? MCTS is a subdomain of MCSC, so MCTS will forward the request to MCSC, and MCSC forward the request to Zoom. Zoom is having U1 and password? Yes. So wherever the user account is available, that domain is responsible for authentication. Zoom will give authentication back to MCSC, then MCTS to client, then successfully user can log in, user can access the resources, right? So within the tree, one domain user can log into other domain. One day this user, which user? M1 user, want to log in from MCS zoom.com clients. Can we log in or not here? But what you have to type? Your name, not only your name. If you type your name, it's going to search in zoom.com. Your account is not there. You have to tell, sir, I belongs to this domain, @mcts.mcsc. Your complete name you have to type, then press enter. The request, this client is working for Zoom. This client will forward the request to Zoom domain, but Zoom domain is not having information of U1 and M1 and password, but Zoom is having information of MCSC domain and MCTS. So Zoom will forward the request to MCSC, MCSC to MCTS, MCTS will give authentication back to MCSC, then Zoom to client, then user can log in. So within the tree, we have multiple domains, and one domain user can log into other domain clients without permission of administrator, but you have to type your name plus your domain name, then you can log in there. So this is a method and this is a procedure we have, right? So that's why you can see here now, by the help of tree structure, we expand the network, we are doing easy and centralized management. Now we'll see now our next lab, how to create the child domain. So please write down our next lab today. Our next lab today, configuring child domain controller. Configuring child domain controller, okay? But tell me in the lab now, how many machines you require for this practical? 1 machine, 2 machines, or 3 machines? We require at least 2. First machine is what, sir? Already configured DC. Second machine, what you have configured? ADC. Now tell me what you will do. You will remove ADC and you make child domain? No. Sir, in the lab, for today's session, we require 3 machines. We require how many machines? 3 machines. System 1 is your DC, system 2 is your ADC, and system 3, now you're going to make child domain here, okay? So in the lab, how many machines? 3 machines. So, and today I'm giving 3 machines to you, right? You have to join with your friends, make first DC, then backup, then go to the third machine to make child. But remember here, if you want to make child, if you want to make backup server, first we require DC. If you have DC, you can configure child. If you have DC, you can configure backup server. So make sure first DC is there or not. And what is your domain name? What is your server IP address? Our domain name is zoom.com. Our DC IP is what? 10.1 here, okay? So please write down. So we are going for which machine? Third machine to make, okay? So write down in system 3. So you can see here, this is my system 1 DC. Domain name is what here? Zoom.com. So I'm going on third machine. So please write down in system 3. In system 3 computer, log in as administrator. In system 3 computer, log in as a administrator dash work group. So in this machine, right, we require server OS, and this machine should be what here? Work group here. So you can see it, assume it, this is my system 3 machine. If I right click on computer icon, if I go to the properties, this machine is having server 2012 operating system. I can use 3 also, 8 also, no problem there. And this machine is what here? Work group here, right? The write down next line, assign the IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. Assign the IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. Assign the IP address and preferred DNS address, PDNS, should be same. And alternate DNS address is DC IP address. An alternate DNS address is DC IP address. So once again, I'm repeating, please. IP address and preference address should be same, and alternate DNS address is your DC IP. And please remember, when you're assigning the IP should be unique there. Okay. So already 10.1, 10.2 I have used. I'm using what here? 10.0.3 there. Okay. But in the lab, on which machine you are sitting, give that machine IP. If you're sitting on system 5, give the IP 10.5 there. Already we know how to assign the IP. Right click on network icon, click on properties, click on change adapter settings, right click on Ethernet, click on properties, select IPv4, click on properties. And basically in the lab is like this, there is no IP. So we are sitting on system 3, assume it. So already 10.1, 10.2 we used. I'm giving here 10.0.0.3. Subnet marks, then default gateway is not required. Preferred DNS address is required, 10.3. And alternate DNS address is my primary server IP. But in case if the primary server is failed, this child has to contact to backup server of zoom.com or not? Can you give zoom.com backup server address here? Yes, by using advanced. Remember this one. Okay. So click on OK, click on close, and you can see two things are completed: operating system, IP address, but still this machine is work group. So I have to convert this machine work group to child domain, right? Child domain. So we have to install what here? Active Directory domain service. Not only Active Directory domain service automatically will install, or we have to install. And already we know how to install the service, and after that we have to promote also, right? So please write down short note. Install the Active Directory domain service. I am not giving all the steps here because already we know how to install the Active Directory domain service. Install the Active Directory domain service, but you have to tell to me how to install it here. We have to open Server Manager console, click on add roles and features, then click on next. You have to click next and check the box Active Directory domain service and click next install. So already I have installed here. So in the lab, if already is there, that is good. If it is not there, you have to install. But tell me, once install Active Directory domain service, still this machine is what? Work group. But we have to promote by using flag. By using this option, we have to promote. But remember here, when you're promoting, we have to tell this machine should act as a what here? Child domain controller. So please write down. Next line. In system 3 Server Manager console, click on flag. In system 3 Server Manager console, click on flag. In system 3 Server Manager console, click on flag and click on promote this server. In system 3 Server Manager console, click on flag and click on promote this server to a domain controller. Click on flag and click on promote this server to a domain controller. You can see on the screen also, you can write. We have to click on promote this server to a domain controller. Now try to understand here. Once you click, one new page will open. Already we know this one. This is called deployment page. But you have to tell to me which option I have to select to make this machine as a child. First option, second option, or third option? Third option. What is the third option? Add a new forest. If I select add a new forest, so this is called root server DC. Not only you want to make DC root server. No, we want to make subdomain under this domain. So we have to select the second option only. First option for backup server. Last option for DC. Second option for subdomains. Means child. So write down select. Add a new domain to an existing forest. Select add a new domain to an existing forest. Now try to understand. Forest means your network. In the forest already we have a domain. we are creating one more new domain there. Okay, but this domain should be a subdomain. Add a new domain to an existing forest. Okay. Now next, what is asking? Is asking the select the domain type. What do you want to make? Child domain. That is correct. Yes. So write down next line. Select the domain type dash child domain. Write down one by one this one. Select the domain type dash child domain. Okay. Then what is next asking? Is asking parent domain name and new domain name. So write down parent domain name dash parent domain name dash. What is my parent domain name? Root server name, zoom.com. Maybe in the lab your domain name is different, that you have to type. Parent domain name dash zoom.com. Then next write down new domain name. So child domain name I want to give MCSC. So what I have to type here? Only MCSC. Don't type any other name. After MCSC, don't type any extension. Don't type the parent name. Okay? Only MCSC without any extension, without any parent name. So write down new domain name dash MCSC. But name should be unique. Remember here in the lab, create the new servers by your own domain name. Right? Don't give zoom.com, don't give MCSC. Use your own names and complete it. Okay? Now, after completing installation, then you can find your complete domain name is what here? mcsc.zoom.com. But next, what is asking? Supply the credential for this operation. So we have to go to change. So write down, click on change. Now once you click change, is asking username and password. Username and password means your admin name and password, not your employee name. But tell me, I have to type system 3 workgroup admin name and password, or system 1 DC admin name and password? DC admin, because the DC admin is having right to do this configuration. Okay, so please write down username dash administrator @ zoom.com and password zoom_123 and click OK and click next. Username administrator @ zoom.com, password zoom_123, click OK and click on next. Now once you click OK, is accepted. Once you click next, then it's going for verification. First it will verify whether the parent name is correct or not, child name is unique and correct or not, and parent admin name and correct or not here, right? If you're finding any red color message, so it means something is wrong, make the correction there. Now see here, it's going for verification. Now my verification is going on. But here, verification is done. We are in second page. Now try to understand. In second page, there are so many options are there. The first option is what? Domain function level. Now try to understand what I am saying. When I am making DC, root server, zoom.com. So there are two types of function levels are there. One is forest function level and one is domain function level. Why? Because that is a root server. That is a root server. But this is a subdomain. Child domain is a subdomain. So in subdomains, forest function level feature is not available. Forest function level is not available. Only which function level is available? Domain function level. So remember here, in interview, in exam, it will ask this question. Sir, where we can find domain function level and forest function level in our whole forest? You can say, sir, in root server. In root server, right? But this forest function level feature is not available in child domains. But it will ask like this question. Sir, where we can find in our forest domain function level? So we have to say in every domain. We have to say what here? In root server also, in child domain also, in one more child domain also, that is available. Okay, remember this one. And you can see here, with Active Directory there are two services installing, DNS and global catalog. But global catalog is not compulsory. Without global catalog we can make child domain. And here is asking password and confirm password. So write down, type the password and confirm password, zoom_123 and click next. Type the password and confirm password, zoom_123, or you can give any password, it will accept it, no problem there. Type the password and confirm password, zoom_123, and after that please write down 5 times next, 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 next. But please, I am saying I know nothing is there, configuration, just we have to click next, next, right? But in the lab, read the slides. Really, if you require something changes, change it. Otherwise, next. So how many times? 5 times. Next, 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 next. Then write down, click on install and restart. Once you click install, your installation is started. Then after that you have to restart. Means automatically restart. We have to check that. Now see here, once I click next here, I'm in the next page. In next page is saying, sir, DNS service is not there. Once you click in next, DNS service also installed. Okay, so we have to click on next here. So once you click next, it's taking the NetBIOS name. NetBIOS name is what? Without any extension name, without any parent name. That is called NetBIOS name. What is the NetBIOS name here? Only MCSC. It will take automatically. We don't need to type. Just we have to wait for a few seconds. It's taken? Yes. So we have to click on next. But once you click next here, this server is a child domain, is having their own Active Directory database. Whenever you create some account, it's going to store in child domain Active Directory database. Okay. Now once you click next here, it is giving the summary review, configuring this server as the first Active Directory domain in the new child domain, and the new child domain name is what here? MCSC. And you can see the next fourth line, the new domain is a child domain of domain zoom.com. Okay, so click next, and it's going for prerequisite site checks. Now all prerequisite site checks are successfully passed. We have to click on install. So once you click install, your installation is started. It will take hardly 5 to 10 minutes time. Then after installation is done, this machine will restart. We have to go for verification. But here I'm not completing the installation in the class, but in the lab you have to complete the installation, then you have to go for verification, because here I have to show one more server there. Okay, so please write down verification. And here also we have 3 verifications to verify this machine is child or not. So write down the first one. In system 3 child domain controller, in system 3 child domain controller, log in as an administrator. In system 3 child domain controller, log in as a administrator. In system 3 child domain controller, log in as a administrator. Okay, next point, write down. Right click on computer icon, click on properties. Right click on computer icon, click on properties. Right click on computer icon, click on properties, and check the domain name. Right click on computer icon, click on properties, and check the domain name. What is the domain name? Write down mcsc-mcsc.zoom.com. Check the domain name -mcsc.zoom.com. So this is our complete domain name. Okay, by seeing this name we can say, okay, MCSC is a child domain of zoom.com. Then write down our command netspace accounts. Open the command prompt, type netspace account, and press enter. Now tell me, if I type netspace accounts here, so what name it will display? In the child domain, if I am typing netspace accounts, and if I press enter, it will show you what? It will show you primary, or it will show you backup, or it will show you child domain. What? It will show you? Confused? The last just 10 minutes back already I have explained this one. Sir, whenever you type this command netspace account, once you press enter, it will show you child domain or DC or ADC or backup or primary. What? It will not show you child domain. It will not show you ADC. It will not show you DC. It will show you only 2 names, primary or backup. Now tell me what it will show you. Primary, because the child domain also is a primary server in this network here. Okay, it's not a backup server. So write down dash primary. Please, in the interview, don't say, sir, it will show you child, or it will show you DC or ADC, like that. Okay, or it will not show you subdomain also, primary. Now tell me, for this child domain, can we configure one backup server? Yes, we can take one new computer, we can configure. So for every domain, we can configure one new backup server. But don't think that, sir, and don't ask this question also, because after the session is completed, my student will ask, sir, can I take one computer? Can I make one backup server? This server should act as a backup for Zoom also, for MCSC also, for MCTS also. Can we make like this? No, one server cannot be a backup for multiple domains. One server can be a backup for one domain only. Okay. So till now we have seen what is domain. In our domain, what is DC, what is ADC, and what is child. And please write down one more verification, last one. In system 3 child domain controller, in system 3 child domain controller, create some user accounts. in system 3 child domain controller create some user accounts dash John. Example, username is John. In system 3 child domain controller create some user accounts. But tell me, these user accounts will be there in child domain active directory, but is available in zoom.com active directory? No, it's not going to replicate there. Okay, so these 3 verification we have to do it. Now come to the last one today. Write down the heading forest. Please copy this one. And please copy fast this one. Sir, option is there, but option is very lengthy procedure is there. If something is missing, wrong, your server will corrupt it. Lengthy procedure is there. Through commands we can do it. Some commands are there, some graphical methods, but we can do it. But once you're in perfect in everything, then you can do it. How to install, sir? By using server manager. Go to server manager, option is there, manage. Flag is there. Beside the flag we have manage. In that we have 2 options, add and remove. What do you want to do now? So click and check next, and which service you want to uninstall. Uncheck that box. So do one thing today, try in the lab. After the lab is completed, check how to remove the active directory also. Okay, but first complete the practical. Is done everything? So now we are going for the next one. Till now we have discussed what is domain and what is a tree. And tree contain what? Root server and childs and subdomains, you can say. Okay. Okay, the experts are saying, sir, tree contain root and branches, right? But what forest contain? Trees or only one tree? Multiple trees. You have multiple trees in one area, one location. That location is called what here? Forest here, right? So the Microsoft also is saying, expert saying, sir, by using forest structure, first of all, we can expand the business, we can expand the service one, we can expand the network, we can give the best service to our customers, to staff, and as an administrator, we can do easy and centralized management by using this forest structure also. But how to design the forest structure here? So you can see in my network already we have a tree. In my tree, this is called single tree. Zoom.com is called parent server, is root server also, and MCSC.zoom.com is called child domain. MCTS.mcsc.zoom.com is called what here? Grandchild domain. So we have number of domains, and these domains, subdomains are falling under parent. For example, you are the admin, you have designed this network. If everything is okay, now one day your boss is coming, your boss is saying, sir, we are opening the new business, sir. We are opening the new business, and that business is a software. That business is what here? Software. And your boss is giving the task to you. Sir, you are my admin. Please design one new domain here with server and clients. Design one new domain with server and clients. Can we configure or not? Yes. So design the new domain with server and clients. So take one machine, example system 4, install the server OS, then assign the IP address we know. So to make server, give the IP, unique IP 10.4 example, and the preferred DNS address should be same 10.0.4, and after that we have to install Active Directory service and install the DNS service, right? And make this machine as a domain, and the domain name I am giving here soft.com, and create the number of machine as a clients. Now tell me, your network has design or not here? Your new domain has design, but your boss has given some instructions to you. Your boss is saying, sir, create the new domain for this business. That is okay, with server and clients, okay? But this domain should be a subdomain of zoom.com. This domain should be a, create the new domain, but this domain should be a subdomain of zoom.com. Can we make this domain should be a subdomain of zoom.com? Yes. So this domain should work under zoom.com. But tell me, if any domain is working under existing domain, so that is called subdomain, and the subdomain has to follow the name of parent server here, right? So you can see here. Here we have MCSC domain, and MCSC is a child domain of zoom.com. It's following the name of MCSC.zoom.com. So like this we have to follow. So if this soft.com is a subdomain of zoom.com, so and then domain name is what? Not soft. The domain name is what here? Soft.zoom.com. So by seeing this name, you can say this is machine is what here? Subdomain is a child domain, okay? But your boss is giving the third instruction. The first instruction is what? We need a new domain with server and clients. Second instruction is what? This new domain should work under existing domain zoom.com. Third instruction is what? This domain should be a subdomain of zoom.com. This domain, new domain, should be a subdomain of zoom.com, but this domain should not follow the name of zoom.com. So this domain, new domain, is working under zoom.com. This domain should be a subdomain of zoom.com, but this domain should not follow the name of zoom.com. So then this domain name is what? Soft.com. So try to understand this one. If any domain is a subdomain, if any domain is a subdomain is following the name of parent, that is called child. It's called what here? Child. If any domain is working under existing domain, is a subdomain of existing domain, so this domain is not following the name of parent server, and the parent server is not sharing the name with this server. So then this server is called NDEF domain. This is called what here? India. If any domain is working under existing domain is following the name of parent, that is called what? Child. If any domain is working under existing domain is not following the name of parent server, then this server is called what here? NDEF domain. Is called new domain tree in existing forest. New domain tree in existing means in existing tree we are adding one more tree, but these three domains are working under the existing domain but is not following the name of parent server here, right? So this is called. So now the soft.com is working under zoom.com but is not following the name of parent server here, okay? Now tell me, under soft.com can we add one more subdomain here? Yes, I am adding one more subdomain here by the help of Active Directory service, by the help of DNS service, and the new domain name is SS. Now tell me, what is the complete name? ss.soft.com, right? This domain is having their own Active Directory, right? So SS is working under soft.com, but SS and soft.com is working under Zoom.com. So means the Zoom also is having information of soft.com, and Zoom also is having information of ss.soft.com. So now this complete. Now tell me, how many trees are there in my network? One tree or two tree? Two trees. And the new tree, soft.com, is not following the name of Zoom.com, but is working under Zoom.com. So now this complete structure is called forest. It's called what here? Forest. In my forest, we have number of trees. Like this, under Zoom.com, can we add one more tree by the name of IBM.com? In that, can we add one new child domain, it.ibm.com? Yes, we can add. So we have number of trees in single network. That is called what here? Forest here. And which server is the first in this network? Zoom.com. So the Zoom.com technically now is called a forest. It's called forest root domain controller. It's called what here? Forest. So which server is created first in network? That is called forest root domain. Not only by sitting on Zoom.com. Can we manage, can we apply some policies to soft.com domain users? Can we apply some policies to ss.soft.com users? Yes, here. But tell me, if I create some user account in ss.soft.com, S1, now tell me this S1 user account information is available only in ss.soft.com domain, not in soft, not in Zoom. But SS information is available in soft, and SS and soft is working, is available, information is available in Zoom.com. So this user, SS user, S1, this user can log into any domain in my forest. Any domain in my forest. So one day the user is coming to this domain, MCTS, is typing s1@ss.soft.com. So request will go to MCTS domain. MCTS to MCSC, MCSC to Zoom, Zoom to soft, soft to SS. SS will give authentication. Where the account is there, that domain is responsible for authentication. SS will give authentication back to soft, soft to Zoom, Zoom to MCSC, then MCTS, MCTS to client, then user can log in. Like this, MCTS user, M1 user also can log into ss.soft.com clients. Yes, so within the forest, without permission of admin, one domain user can log into other domain. So this is called what here? Forest. In forest, we have multiple domains, but the new domain trees are not following the name of existing domain here. So that's why you can see in the slide is written, multiple domain tree within the single forest do not form the continuous namespace. Although the tree in the forest do not share the namespace, means the Zoom is not sharing the name with this new domains here. A forest will have a single root domain, that is called forest root domain. And who is the forest root domain? Forest root domain is the first domain created in the forest. And you try to understand these two groups. These two groups are called forest wild predefined groups, and these two groups are available only in forest. And what is the group name? Enterprise admin and schema admin. So remember here, these two groups are not available in child.com. You can check practically after your lab is done. You cannot find these two groups in child domain. You cannot find these two groups in soft.com NDF. These two groups are available in Zoom.com in forest root domain only. Now, what is the question here? Example, one day I went to the interview. The person is asking this question. Sir, my previous admin, not you, my previous admin is created two servers, sir. One is Zoom.com and one more is MCSC.Zoom.com. So the person is asking the question, sir, how to find out which server is a root server here, which server is a subdomain here? By seeing this name, can you say which server is a root server, which server is a subdomain? Yes, Zoom.com is what? Root server. MCSC.Zoom.com is called child domain, is called subdomain here. Okay, but the next question the person is asking, sir, my previous admin, not you, sir, is created two servers in my network. One is two domains in my network. One is Zoom.com and one is soft.com, right? Previous admin is created two servers, two domains. One is Zoom.com, one is soft.com. Now the interview person is asking the question, sir, please see this name and tell me which server is called root server and which server is called subdomain here. Which server is called forest root domain and which server is called subdomain here. Now tell me, by seeing this name, can you give the answer? Yes? No. Why? Because not following the name of subdomain here. Okay, so how to give the answer? So give the answer by using these two groups, enterprise admin and schema. Go to Zoom.com Active Directory and go to soft.com Active Directory also. So open the ADUC console. Which console? ADUC. Go to the users and check these two groups. Which group? Enterprise admin group and schema admin group. Now try to understand, if these two groups are available in soft.com and is not available in Zoom.com, so then soft.com is called forest root domain. And in case if these two groups are available in Zoom.com, then Zoom.com is called forest root domain controller, and then soft.com will become what here? Not child, subdomain, right, is available in NDF domain. Okay, because child domain, by seeing this we can say, but remember here these two groups are not available in child domain, is not available in NDF domain, is available in forest root domain. So practically in the lab you have to check this one, okay, after your configuration is done. Now see in the diagram here, I created the first domain ms.com. In that I created child mcitb.ms.com. This is called what? Tree. Now I'm adding one more domain soft.com, and now soft.com is working under ms.com but is not following the name of ms.com. So this network is called what here? Forest. Now tell me, in this soft.com, can we add one more subdomain here? Yes. So I'm creating one new subdomain by the name of ss.soft.com. Like this we can design the network. Okay. So now we'll go for the next lab, last one today. So write down the heading, creating, or you can say configuring NDEF domain. Configuring NDEF domain. Configuring NDEF domain. Write down instance, new domain tree in existing forest. New domain tree in existing forest. NDEF stands new domain tree in existing forest. Okay. Now tell me, in the lab how many machines you require now for practical? One machine, two machine, three machine, or four machine? How many? Four. We require four machines, and today I am giving four machine in the lab. First machine is your DC. 4 machine setup is there. First machine is DC, second machine is backup, third machine is child, and fourth machine is your NDF domain, right? And please, in the lab I cannot give 4 systems to one student, and please don't ask that, right? So please join with your friends, group of students, and first make DC. Don't touch other machines. Take system 1, make DC, revise it. Then second student, make ADC, and check other student. You have to check how to configure ADC, guide it. If any is doing wrong, make the correction there, right? Then if he's ready, then go to third machine, make child. Go to the fourth machine, make NDF domain, right? This is your lab. So we require 4 machines here. So first, which machine we require? DC. If the DC is there, confirm it, then you can go for NDF domain. So write down steps. In system 4 computer, log in as a administrator dash work group. In system 4 computer, log in as a administrator dash work group. So take the new machine. In this machine we require server OS, and this machine should be what here first? Work group, right? Then write down, assign the IP address. Assign the IP address and preference address should be same. Assign the IP address and preference address should be same. And alternate DNS address is DC IP address. DC means your root server. Okay. Assign the IP address and preferred DNS address should be same. Assign the IP address and preferred address should be same. And alternate DNS address is DC IP address. Okay. So in the slide you can see I have given IP 10.4, 10.4, and alternate DNS address is my DC IP 10.0.1. The next what we have to do, we have to install Active Directory domain service, then we have to promote. So write down next line, install the Active Directory domain service, and already we know how to install this one. Install Active Directory domain service. But once install Active Directory domain service, automatically this machine will become NDF domain? No, we have to promote, right? Then it will become NDF. Okay. So first I will complete this one. So now this is my system 1 is zoom.com DC, right? I'm going to my fourth machine. Assume it is my fourth machine. I logged as a administrator here. Right click on computer icon, go to properties. You can see I have 2012 server OS. I can use 3 also, 8 also, no problem there. And this machine is my work group machine here, right? Now assign the IP. Right click on network icon, click on properties, select the change adapter settings, assign the IP to this NAC card. So the IP address I'm giving here basically is like this. There is no IP. 10.1, 10.2, 10.3 I have used. I have to give the next available IP. That is 10.0.0.4. And preferred DNS address should be same. And alternate DNS address is 10.0.1 here, DC IP. Then click OK. Click OK, close this one. Still this machine is workgroup here. So we have to go to Server Manager console. By using add roles and features, we have to add the ADDS service. But once you add the ADDS service, still this machine is workgroup. So we have to convert this machine workgroup to NDF domain by using this flag. Okay, so please write down next line. It's system 4. In system 4 Server Manager console. In system 4 Server Manager console, click on flag. In system 4 Server Manager console, click on flag. Click on flag and click on promote this server to a domain controller. Click on flag and click on promote this server to a domain controller. Now once you click this option, promote this server to a domain controller, one new page will open. Now tell me, because today our complete session is depend on these options. Remember, by heart these options. Now tell me which option I have to select to make this machine as a NDEF domain. First one, second one, or third one? Which one? Third one. What is the name? Add a new forest. Answer is wrong, sir. Because you can see here, it is showing what? Root server. We don't want to make root server here. We want to make subdomain. So to make subdomain, we have to select second option only. But remember here, first option for backup here. We don't want backup. So here, we have to select add a new domain to an existing forest. But here you have to change. In domain, select the domain type. We don't want child. If you drag, can you find tree domain here? Yes, here we have to change. So write down, select add a new domain to an existing forest. Select add a new domain to an existing forest. By heart these names, these options, and remember which option for which server. For DC what, for ADC what option, for child what option, for NDF what option you have to select. So write down, select add a new domain to an existing forest. Then next line write down, select the domain type dash, what I have to select now? Tree domain. Select the domain type dash tree domain. But remember here one thing, observe here, when I am selecting domain type child, what is showing in the down? Parent name. But observe here, once you drag and select tree domain, now what is asking? Forest name. So write down next line, forest name dash what? Zoom.com. That is okay. Then next line is asking the domain name, and here we have to give the domain name with extension here. Okay, with extension you have to give any extension, .com, .org, .in, but name plus extension we require. So new domain name dash soft.com. But please in the lab use your own names for today practical. Okay, give your own names here. So new domain name dash what? Soft.com. Then is asking supply the credential for this operation. So write down, click on change. Almost the steps are same here now. Once you click change, what is asking? Username and password. So what I have to type? Our DC admin name and password. Okay, so write down username dash administrator @ zoom.com and password zoom_123. Click OK and click next. Username administrator @ zoom.com, password zoom_123. Click OK. Is accepted and click on next to verify. It will verify parent name is correct or not, and new domain name is correct or not, admin name and password not. Are you finding blue line is crossing? And it will take 2 minutes time here. How much time here? 2 minutes. You have to wait for 2 minutes here. Now try to here you can see here I'm in the next page now. It is asking what next page? Only domain function level. Forest function level is not available because the forest function level is available in forest root domain, not in the subdomains, not in the child, not in NDF. Then here we require DNS service and we require global catalog, but global catalog is not compulsory. Without global catalog we can make NDF domain. but we need password and confirm password. So write down password and confirm password zoom underscore 123. Password and confirm password zoom underscore 123. And after write down again 5 times next, install and restart. 5 times next, install and restart. So once installation is done, it will restart, then you have to go for verification. But try to read the slides. If you have changes, change it, otherwise next. Now see here, once I click next, next is saying said DNS service is not found. If you click next, automatically will install. So click on next, and you can see it's taking the NetBIOS name. Full name is what? Soft.com. NetBIOS name is only soft. And this soft.com, once I click next, is having their own Active Directory database. If I create some user accounts here, so this user account is going to store in soft.com Active Directory only here. Okay. So once you click next here, is giving the review, configuring this server as the first Active Directory domain control in the new domain tree. We are adding the new tree, and the new domain name is what here? Soft.com. You can see the 4th line. The new domain has a trust with the domain zoom.com. Is a trust link with the zoom.com, is a working under zoom.com, but not following the name of Zoom here. So once you click next here, is going for prerequisite site checks. If everything is okay, go for the install, then restart. Then write down verification, and here also we have 3 verifications here. So write down in system for NDEF domain. In system for NDEF domain. In system for NDEF domain, login as administrator. Login as a administrator. The next line, write down right click on computer icon, click on properties. Right click on computer icon, click on properties, and check the domain name. Right click on computer icon, click on properties, and check the domain name -soft.com. Right click on computer icon, click on properties, check the domain name -soft.com. Okay. Then next, write down, open the command prompt, type netSpace accounts. Open the command prompt, type netSpace accounts. Now tell me, when you're typing netSpace account, what it will display? Primary. That is good. Open the command prompt, type netSpace account -primary. Then write down, open the ADUC console and create some user accounts. Example Sam. Open the ADUC console and create some user accounts. Example Sam. Okay. And create the account with passwords here. Now tell me, this Sam account is available only in soft.com Active Directory, but not available in zoom.com. But this Sam can log into any domain in my forest or not here? Yes, you have to check, right? So, and 2 extra labs are there. You have to write, and you have to complete it. So write down 2 more small labs, note. 2 small labs are there, note, write down. Confirming the domain names in forest. Confirming the domain names in forest. Confirming the domain names in forest. Example, you are the new admin and already this network is there. So as administrator, I want to know in my organization, what is the first domain? What is the name? Under the, how many childs are there? What are the names? How many new domains are there? NDF, what are the names? In that, how many childs are there? I want to collect the complete domain names information. And here, the names are arranging according to categories. The names are not arranging according to the alphabets here, right? So please write down, in DC, open the ADDT console. You can check it not only in DC, in any domain. You can check this one, okay? Open the Active Directory domain and trust. In short, you can say ADDT, and check the domain names. Open the ADDT console and check the domain names. Now see here, the domain names are arranged like this. Now who is the first server in my organization? Zoom.com. It will show you like this. Now tell me, under Zoom.com, we have child domain also. Is working under Zoom.com following the name of Zoom. It will show you like this. And under MCSC, we have one more subdomain. It will show you like this. Now, by seeing these names, can you say who is the first server here? Yes, under Zoom we have two subdomains here, MCSC and MCTS. But under Zoom we have one more domain, that is what? Soft.com, but it's not following the name of Zoom. So it will show you like this, separately. And under Soft, we have one more subdomain, that is what? ss.soft.com. So not only by seeing these names, can we collect the complete information or not? Who is the root server, under the how many childs, how many grandchild, how many subtrees are there? So it will show you like this. So in the lab, you have to check it after your lab is done, okay? Now see here, this is my server. I have to go to the server manager console, go to the tools and open the Active Directory domain and trust. Now what is the first domain name here? Zoom.com. Are you finding? But right now I have not created today's subdomains yet, that's why it's not showing, but in the lab, it will show you the subdomains and the structure is like this. It will show you like this, okay? Now write down one more lab. You have to do it. Confirming forest root domain controller. Confirming forest root domain controller. Confirming forest root domain controller, okay? And this configuration, you can check any machine, but which machine is root server, that machine will show you. Yeah, so please write down in DC, open the ADUC console, Active Directory users and computers. In DC, open the ADUC console, Active Directory users and computers, okay? So please write down, open the users container, open the users container and check the enterprise admin group, check the enterprise admin group and schema admin group, these two groups. Check the enterprise admin group and schema admin group, these two groups you have to check, okay? Now see here how to check, but remember here these two groups are not available in child domain, is not available in soft.com NDF domain. So you can see here I am going to my DC, open the Active Directory users and computers, and you can see here if I expand the domain name, if I go to the users here, and you can see in the list here, are you finding enterprise admin group? Yes. Are you finding schema here? Yes. Is available in which domain? Zoom.com. So Zoom.com is called forest root domain, okay? But you can check these two groups in child domain also, grandchild you cannot find, is not available there, okay? You have to check this one. So today in the lab, now tell me how many machines we require? 4 machines. So 4 machine setup is there. You have to join with your friends and do the practical. If the systems are not available for you, just wait for half an hour, then come back, because this practical is only half an hour, then come back and you can do again once again, okay? So 4 machines, system 1 DC, system 2 backup, system 3 child domain, system 4 is NGF. And tomorrow we are going to discuss practical class, roles of Active Directory. Thank you very much for today's sessions.